I use two different decks for this, but they're sibling decks, same creator. The main spread is from the Gentle Tarot deck, but then her companion deck is my friend Fire, and that's where the year theme comes from, which is the middle card.
Okay.
And I don't know if you can see that, but it's I'll hold it up here too. It's rage.
Yeah.
And so like the year theme is it's something you're going to kind of see weaving throughout the year. And I I look at all of these cards not as a predictor but as an invitation for something. So the first thing that like came up with that card was it's time to befriend your anger, like your own rage. It's time to get intimate with it in a way that is gracious and compassionate. I know you've shared like in the past you were kind of like shamed and like, you know, pushed. It was pushed. There was just an aspect of like people like kind of pushing you away, or like your mom's response to it not being any way affirming. And this card especially is like it's reminding me of you're familiar with Moana, right? Like,
Yes.
yeah, okay. So the lava monster is created because her heart is taken away, right? Like she's disconnected from her ability to feel. And and also it and so it's like that level of like suppression, oppression, disconnect had turned her into something completely different than what she was. And it wasn't that it wasn't the lava itself that was the problem. It was the fact that she was missing this like really vital connection to who she is. So I think this is like it's an invitation to see your rage as um something other than just the rage itself, and more of like what what's missing there, where's the disconnect from you from who you authentically are, that the rage then has the opportunity to kind of become part of your identity versus like anger and rage are actually sacred. Like we have rage in response to things that should cause rage, like injustice, abuse, like those kinds of things. um but then like when we're disconnected from ourselves, like it's like rage can just take over and like
Hmm.
be again like Taka, where it becomes your whole identity. And again, I want to say that in a way that's that's not even to shame if it does become your identity. It's more of like what part of you is Moana in this moment or throughout the next year and needs to like make that courageous journey across the sea and bring back that disconnected part. Like bring yourself back into integrity with yourself. It plays a little bit into kind of what you're saying too about like being hard on yourself. Like I think those all have kind of a similar origin story where um when we do have something where we're disconnected from it, or we're not completely whole, like something is missing, like then that rage does turn in on ourselves too. And um yeah, so I'm just like feeling like it feels like lava when you're like talking about how you're hard on yourself. It's like the burn of like how hot lava is, and like scalding. And so I think that what this means is that next year can be a really healing trajectory for you. And it may mean parsing out kind of like what are these parts of yourself? Who's responsible for the disconnect, the ongoing disconnect? Who's responsible for bringing the pieces back together? Um, who's going to be responsible for the repair work, like holding the space for you to actually like heal, and what that looks like. Okay, so no big deal. not a not a serious theme at all. um but I think like this card can, um I just get the sense that this card could like, it could do one of those like, of course it fucking is. Like this
Yeah.
is something I've dealt with my entire life. But it's more of an invitation to relate to it differently than it is to like than it is like a shaming thing. Like, see, you can't get over it. See, you can't
Hmm.
you want to do more movement. You can't do it. Like those kinds, it's not meant to be that. It's meant to be more like, hey, can we shift something here?
Hmm.
So that's kind of the lens of everything. I will promise you that the rest of the spread does not feel nearly as intense as that card. So it's fascinating to me because I think that it is representing something that's really been historically intense for you. But I don't think the journey of healing that has to be intense. Um, in fact, like when you said calm, that you wanted calm, there's a lot of calm in the cards that are coming through. So, um, okay, so let's just kind of, yeah, there's some like, it's there's some interesting themes. Okay, so I'm just gonna dive right in. So January is the moon. Historically, it's a very um, lunar connection to femininity. Um, is the relationship there, and there's also a this card in particular. There's like a sense of uh, reclusing, but with purpose. So like become like coming into relationship maybe with that, like with that feminine part of yourself that is like, well, it's going to be deeply emotional. It can, but it's, there's a comfortability there too. Like, when your birthday is the 26th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have like you have can't wait. No, you're on the Taurus side of things. Right. 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 Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what your other two are? Like your moon and your rising?
I always forget.
It's okay. I just tend to travel in circles where we ask each other that at every
No, I
sitting.
feel like I've looked it up a lot and then I always forget.
Yeah.
Let me see. Oh my god, I have to scroll so far down to see my birth year now. Okay. Rising sign Libra.
Mm.
Why? Ugh, it only showed me that. I need to write this down somewhere. Okay, rising, Libra, moon, and Aquarius.
Moon in Aquarius. You and I both have moon in Aquarius. I think that's so fascinating. Okay. Okay. I think actually, like, both of us being Geminis with moon in Aquarius, that is an like, okay. Um, let's see. I'm just looking at the moon phases for January because I want to see if there's a connection there. Um, but like kind of what this moon is giving me is this is like a time to let self-reflection be feel good, like to like there's kind of this there's like this dark there's like a shadowy side on one side of the moon and there's kind of a light side on the other side. It kind of gives me the feeling that you're going to be faced with choices, and there's going to be a sense that like you're going to be weighing out pros and cons. You're going to be like and this can just be subtle, like everyday things too, but like the big overarching thing is actually this relationship with the moon, and again that connection to femininity, but then also being in water, it's like emotional nurturing, and that like I'm just gonna say, like, you're a triple air sign, like Gemini, Aquarius, Libra, all air signs. Emotions can feel not, I don't know if scary is the word, but deeply uncomfortable. Like it is not a cozy place. So, but this feels cozy to me. This doesn't feel like, oh, you gotta like get in touch with your feelings, like, and go to therapy and like in a, aggressive, like crying after every, after every session, although not that crying's bad, but just like where you feel shredded. This is like sinking into, like wading out into a warm body of water and just like letting your body float there kind of feeling. So I don't know that you have a lot of directives for the month of January except to just allow, just like allow it to happen. Okay. And then where is it? All the things that are popping up are like, it's a waning gibbous. I'm like, that's not what I'm asking for. Okay, there will be a new moon in Capricorn. What's the full moon? Here we go. Let's do it.
Milo said he must have heard about moon phases somewhere because he said one, like he looked at the moon and said one the other day, but it was like really wrong. I was like, no, but good guess.
That's really adorable, though.
Yeah.
My sister went through, like, that was something she really connected to
Okay.
as well as a kid. And she actually learned the phases and was like, it's a
Oh, cool.
gibbous. And I was always just like, what? How do you know that word?
Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to remember where he saw it, like some show, I'm sure.
All right. February. Seven of Thunder. Got a cute little lynx here. Thunder is in the like normal tarot. So I'll tell you kind of what the normal tarot connections are. This one is more earth based. So it has like thunder and stuff like that. Anyway, it's swords, and then that correlates with like thoughts, words, connections. And what I appreciate about this card is like the lynx is not actually engaging at all. It's around. Like the lightning is surrounding the lynx, but there's a sense of detachment, and I think that's like an invitation to detach from those inner thoughts that feel really impossible to navigate, like to almost to like step back from them and notice that, like, just to observe them, even like, is this something that I need to pay attention to? Is this something that I should be listening to at this moment? Is it helpful for me in any way? Does it give me new insight into my situation? And if the answer is no, like, then just to like let them exist over here, and you don't have to like let every thought or inner dialogue be the narrative, if that makes sense. Like, you can let those thoughts and things kind of like, you can look at them and be like, huh, that's an interesting way to think about myself. Is it helpful? Is it loving? Is it compassionate? If it doesn't like pass the litmus test of those questions, then um, it's not a true thought. Like, it's not a true narrative about you. It's come out of hurt, or it's come out of conditioning, or it's come out of really, usually the central thing is a strong desire to protect you. And that can be the challenging part with some of these inner narratives, is that we only see them as bad, and we try to like distance ourselves from them and push them away, but they're actually like trying to serve a purpose for you. And so you have to kind of like recognize when that's happening, and then give them new tools. Like, their tool might be, you're just, and it might have worked in the past. That's why it keeps recurring, which is like, if it's like around movement, it's like, well, you just can't ever stick to a plan, or whatever that dialogue is. And instead of like continuing that, you could say, hey, could you tell me something like helpful? Can we change this to, um, I'm capable of following a plan that serves me well. And then that's like a whole different like narrative you get to live into, versus the old one that's just hypercritical. Give it tools. I like, years and years ago, I realized I kind of had this inner abuser, and he would just say the most horrendous things to me. And I like, in a meditation, I was like, okay, you can't tell me those things anymore. You can only tell me I'm beautiful. And he was like even angry and saying, he's like, fine, you're beautiful. But it had such a different impact for me
Mhm.
than like, you're a piece of shit, nobody wants you. Like, so if you can recognize that's the voice, the distance thing will help, because you'll be able to see it more clearly, and it won't feel as personal. And then you could say like, look, I understand you want to protect me, but can you say this instead? Can you tell me that actually I'm really capable? Can you tell me actually um, that I am worth doing something that I enjoy? I am worth, movement that feels good for my body, and just kind of go that direction. Um, okay. And also, I think it's worth mentioning that like, uh these are just energies, and they can bleed over, and it could, like, it says February, but it could be like mid-January to mid-March, where you're like kind of moving through this space. So um I mean, you might start moving through it now, just because we're like bringing it, forward. Who knows? um but it's kind of in that time frame where I think in hindsight you'll see like, oh yeah, that was a pattern that moved like through my month. Um, and I also think it's worth noting that it's for the purpose of healing and growth. It's not for the purpose of like menial, busy work. Like, you're not just moving through this so that you can keep moving through this over and over again. Like, it has a purpose, and you're going to start to grow and heal some spaces in yourself through doing this. And also, you're welcome to, like, if something comes up and you have a question or whatever, you can always just be like, what about this? That's like why I love doing the live reading piece. Okay. March timeframe is the Nine of Cups. And this is partly why I was confident that it's going to be for your greater good, because this card is all about like, um, it's all about like enjoying the fruits of your labor. Like literally lay down, hold beautiful things, look at beautiful things, rest in the work you've been doing. Um, and rainbow, interesting. The next card has a rainbow too. So I think there's a lot of, I think it's offering you hope, but I think you're actually going to feel hope. Like it's going to be like it's going to be permeating your late spring, like late winter, early spring time frame. Um, it's like there's going to be like a deeper sense of who you are. I'm going to combine the March and April cards actually, because I think they evolve. The one evolves into the other.
Hmm.
Like this moose is stately AF. It's also though a thunder card. Like, um, it's the harvest though. It's the I think that translates into the king of a suit. So it's the most evolved in that suit. And you'll notice it just has like one tiny little thunderbolt up in the corner. So it's to me, this feels like the Nine of Cups is like it's the path between the Seven of Thunder, where okay, you're just kind of learning to do that take that step back from the thoughts and the narratives, and you're learning how to like re-equip those voices in yourself. You move through the Nine of Cups where you're like, okay, I'm just going to rest in this. I'm going to notice something different in my life. I'm going to pay attention to something different in my life. And that what I'm going to pay attention to is all the things that bring me pleasure. Like me, my authentic self. Not the like um no, it's like it's gonna whatever just deeply brings me pleasure, even if it's like my cup of coffee in the morning. If it can be as mundane or as miraculous as you want, um, but really honing in on that and noticing that, and then resting in it. And it's like it's a bridge between the Seven of Thunder and the Harvest of Thunder, where you're just like majestic as fuck. The thoughts are minimal, or like the grabby negative like narratives are have been shifted enough or retrained enough that they're kind of up here. They're still present, never fully gone, but you and them have a different relationship with each other, and they are not as negatively impacting you. Like this moose is, I just freaking majestic is like what keeps coming to mind. And I think that's like your vibe is shifting. You're actively changing the narratives that drive you. You're actively changing your relationship to yourself. And it's both active intentional work and allowance at the same time. It's like you're learning how to move in the nuance of that, of like, okay, I have to do these things to help me progress, but part of my work is also to rest. It's also to take a step back and take a break. Like I can't learn all the things all at once. uh I need to like have a day off. I need to have a day of rest. But this is all internal. Okay. All right. May is Root of Wands. I love this little guy. He's got his like little hand up. It's given like, no, you shall not pass. Um, I'm gonna look this guy up though, because I know this is a particular animal, but I think it's a mink, but I forget what. forget what animal it is. Oh, that's funny. She doesn't say. Okay. But this is what it does say. And I think it's worth sharing. You are capable of creating and mastering the energy around you. This is a call to bring focus and a clear path to your goals and desires. The Root of Wands is confident, energetic, and full of life. Could you benefit from some of this ermine energy? That's what it is. It's an ermine. If you've been feeling stuck, take a risk. If you've been working too hard, give yourself a healthy break. If you've been sluggish, treat yourself to some fresh air. Or is your over self-assurance causing harm? I don't think that's you, so I'm not going to I'm not going to dig into that one. This kind of was reminding me of like when you were sharing that you just want some clarity and like want to know what you're doing. It feels like it's not just that it's coming to you in May and you just like sit back and wait for it. It's more like it's coming to you once you engage in this journey of kind of shifting your inner dialogue and shifting the way that you relate to yourself. As you do that, then your path and your goals become clearer. Because really what's happening is your authentic self is coming through. It's like being allowed to express itself, and it's no longer being shut down and hindered and hampered by some of these narratives that have come from outside of you. And we've talked a bit about like mom and the Weight Watchers journey, and still some of that messaging that is coming up. It's come from outside of you, but it's also been internalized. So it's coming from inside. And as you're shifting your relationship to those things, as you're doing that work, you will naturally come to a place of clarity. I think it may or may not happen like exactly in May, but I do think it'll happen kind of as this path progresses. And after you make it through your moose stage. But I do think one of the invitations that's sticking out to me is if you feel stuck, take a risk. And I'm gonna look up your human design real quick because there's yeah, okay. My computer is being like such a grandma. Like, I don't want to open sites. Like, what's going on? Okay. What's your email address?
Maria C. Krebs, Krebs @gmail.
Perfect. I'm putting your email in here so you'll get the report if you want to look at it. Okay. 526. What year?
89.
89. Oh, you and T Swift.
I know. My
What?
sister, for my 35th birthday party, she got balloons, like 1989 balloons, and I was like, well, now I look like a giant Taylor Swift fan.
Yeah. Other people were born that year too. Okay, what hour? What hour?
4:20 p.m.
PM.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, 4:20 p.m.
I know.
That's hilarious. Where were you born?
Orange City, Iowa.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
I feel you. I was Lebanon, Indiana. Not Lebanon. 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 Okay. Okay, okay, okay. 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 Okay, so you're okay. This is why things feel confusing for you. I'm gonna do a little human design break right now. Um, so you're a manifesting generator, which most generators and manifesting generators are sacral decision makers, which means our sacral will tell us yes or no. But your decision making process is emotional, which means you have to kind of move through the emotions of things and let the emotions settle before you know what the answer is. And this is like learning to ride the waves of your emotions as a positive thing, as like data collecting versus like, God, I'm just always being wrecked by this, right? Like there's a difference between like moving with the waves and like letting the waves batter you. So your decision making process is nuanced and it's going to be really hard for other people to understand. Like there are times when you're going to have to be like, I need to just kind of wait and see how I feel about this. And how I feel about this right now might change. So I kind of have to wait to see if that's what's true.
That's been part of
Um,
our work together, is that I have a hard time waiting to talk about something,
mm,
but I should, because I'm like too worked up if I don't.
well, it's also like there's a lot of data there for you. So if you want to step back and look at it like a scientist and just say like,
Hmm.
I'm feeling a lot of feelings. Who's feeling these parts? Like what parts of me are feeling these feelings? And what is kind of the underlying message that I think is true because of these feelings?
Hmm.
And then that will kind of help tease out those narratives too. Like if you do that and not just in a like, who it's so hard when you're feeling something and you're just like, I have to get this out. Um, but if you can just do like a little mentally, like, I'm going to take a step back and I'm going to just going to name everything I'm feeling right now. And then I'm going to try to peel back a layer and like, what part of me is feeling this can be a really
Hmm.
helpful question. And then like, listen for what parts of you come forward. That's tends to be how we figure out that we have wounded places, is because those wounded parts get real loud when they perceive like any kind of um, disruption or rejection or disconnect, misunderstanding, like all those things. They get really, really loud. Um, but the other piece, the reason I think that you're struggling with clarity right now is because in some ways you're not meant to have it yet. Your profile is 6'2". I'm same profile too, dude. Um, like same sun, same moon, same profile. We have a lot of overlaps. Um, the 6'2" personality line, the six is the only one. It's really the most evolved of all the personality lines. So six is, honestly, I'll just be real honest. Sixes have a rougher time because their approach to the world tends to be they're able to see things that other people can't see. They're able to make connections like most of the world isn't making. They're really the stewards of human evolution. So the 6 goes in 3 phases. 0 through 30 is they actually act like a 3 line, which is experimental. I call it the fuck around and find out years. It's like you're literally just like, I'm open to trying anything because it's all data collecting for you. And then 30 to 50 is the hermit years. It's the integration years. They call it like go sit on the roof years. Like you literally kind of pull yourself away from everyone and you take a higher perspective and just like you look, but you're also trying to piece together everything you learned in your fuck around and find out years. Like good, bad, neutral. Like you're just like, how does this all fit into the puzzle? Because at 50, you will emerge then as a natural mentor for people. And you've probably felt this with people in your life where people come to you and you're just kind of naturally mentoring them in whatever capacity that is. It's because it's in you no matter what, but it really doesn't come forward clearly until you hit your 50s. So that's not to say you shouldn't make moves. That's not to say you shouldn't you should just sit around and wait, because everything you're doing now contributes to that phase of your life. But it is like I guess a reminder to have patience with yourself, because you're really at this point meant to be a hermit. And I'll just say this too, like this year is a hermit, like 2025 is a hermit year. So, and then the 2 line is a hermit line. Like it's the hermit line of the personality. So you and I both had a triple hermit year. And that means like we've had some like really deep introspective spaces in our lives that it just takes a lot of work that people outside of us aren't really understanding that that's what we're moving through, right? Like, but it's like deep shit. So right now it probably feels like I have no clear direction of where I'm going, and that's okay. I think that's shifting. What your cards are showing is that that's shifting, and you're moving out of the hermit year. So at least you're going to drop like one hermit energy. And next you'll still be in the hermit phases of your personality lines, but next year is the year of the horse. So there's going to be a lot more movement forward than it feels like there is this year. Okay. All right, let's jump back in here. So June is 8 of Wands, and it's interesting because it's got like some elements of fire in it. The wands are they correlate with like kind of like they correlate with like creative energy, with magical energy, with some of that like intangible spiritual stuff. So there is a little bit of fire here woven into this card, but it's gentle, it's balanced. Like even these little circles, the last circle is a balance of the colors of the flames. So I get the sense here that like this is actually, fire is going to show up because it's the theme of your year, but it's going to still, this month is like calm, cool, and collected. And it's going to feel like drinking like an iced mint tea on a hot summer day. Like that feeling of just like, okay, I'm relaxed. Like a new sense of balance in your life is kind of what's pulling through with that. And then speaking of balance, July is the 6 of Cups. And this is a whole new evolution in your emotional experience. Like these are like empowered femmes reaching for the stars. They've got that. There's that rainbow again. So it's more like the sense. It's a sense of internalized hope. It's not just like hope you're seeing outside of yourself. It's like living into it. Um, the waters are not consuming you, although you are a little bit. You're not touching the water either. So maybe this is, I don't get the sense you're avoiding any emotional stuff in this month. I get the sense that you're getting a little bit of a reprieve from going deep, but it's not from a place of avoidance. It really, it's almost like your relationship to your emotions is changing um in an empowered, like deeply feminine sense. Like you can let them exist without needing to manipulate or modify them in any way. This is a good card. There's a lot of good energy here. Okay. October is number 2 in the major arcana. It's a high priestess. So this is only our second card so far that's been in the major arcana. Major is the ones that are labeled with the Roman numeral, and then they have a name at the bottom. Well, I guess they all do that, don't they? But the minor ones are suits, like 7 of this, 8 of this, right? The minors tend to be, I generally see the minors as like they're a little bit more like a little bit more fluid. The energy there is malleable. It's it's able to be shifted more easily. Whereas the major arcanas, there's a powerful punch happening there. Like there's a really dominant energy. And it's like, I think in this respect, it's like, this is a lesson you're moving through, or something that you're really embodying. So the high priestess, I love that she's just like this, kind of this like judgy little owl at night in the night. But it's not so much judgment as it is discernment. And owls are just such freaking cool animals in terms of their adaptations too. Like the ways that their eyes work, the fact that they're hypermobile and can like rotate their head almost all the way around. Like there's a sense of it's like majestic, like the moose card, but in a different way. It's more like badass, like owning your quote adaptations in this life, like owning the parts of you that allow you to navigate difficult or dark times. And instead of othering them and making them an enemy of your existence, they're actually exactly what you need them to be. And this card this month, I just get the sense that there's like a profound, like stepping into that power in an it's like the work you've done up to this point has given you such clarity that you now you sit in confidence of who you are, and the narratives that were kind of pushing you out of that, they're not existing in the same way. You're able to see yourself differently. And because of that, then you see the path ahead of you differently too. You see what you need more clearly. That's like a thing about owls is like they can see what they're looking for and what they need from a great distance in the darkest of times. And so that's going to become more apparent for you too. Oh, I'm wrong. Well, we have another major arcana here. We have 5. We have the Hierophant. I don't know what these birds are. Um, I'm gonna look up the birds real quick, but Hierophant generally is the kind of the masculine spiritual energy. It's less on like the high priestess is more generative, like it's more like the more able to like generate life. This is more of the structures and dynamics. So like working with the masculine structures in a way that feels healthy and supportive. And that is probably internal, mostly internal. And that's introducing a whole new element because up until this point, everything has been really feminine. Um, it's really been about like working within your feminine, reconnecting and healing in your feminine. This is like an introduction of the masculine. And but in a but from a place of healing and more of the divine masculine versus the toxic masculine. Not it's uh this is not a masculinity that's like mandating you. It's more of a masculinity that's providing structure for you so that you can move and operate from a place of safety and stability. um Oh, these are just she just labels these as seabirds. Um, this card guides us to dig deeper, connect, and embrace the wisdom of the ages that is dormant within us. Um, and this is September. So this one is the suggestion on this card is that there's also a connection to the your ancestral pattern, like lineages, and this might be, if you don't have something like this already, kind of a chance to create an ancestor altar to start that reconnection process. And it doesn't have to be, um, it can be specific people, but it also doesn't have to be specific people. It can honestly just be like, well, I think I'm German. And you go and just like do some, or like I think I'm Dutch, or I've read this that I'm Scottish. Like find a thing that's a part of your ancestral lineage and start connecting with it. Okay, moving to October, we have 13, the 13, which is, what am I saying? It's the Flower of Wands. And so fascinating. It's got like little elements of fire on this card. Like there's like a fire on its breast, there's a fire on the ground below. Again, where it's like it's not consuming, but it's present for sure. And this is where again I'm coming back to this relationship with your rage is shifting, and it is weaving throughout, but it's all very gentle. Like it's not um I think again I'm like just kind of like seeing Moana and how all she says to Taka is, this is not who you are. You know who you are. And it's like their little foreheads are pressed together. Anyway, sorry. It's so fascinating. Um, all right. Flower of Wands, Flower of Wands. What do you want to say to us, Crow? What do you want to say, Crow? Hmm. There's like a level of discernment that's happening here. Um, there's a flexibility, like crows are fascinating because they absolutely hold their own. They have such a presence of they are so self directive, and they know who they are. They move through the world with that level of confidence, but they're also very adaptable and flexible. So there's almost this, it's like this invitation to, um, or I think it's more like you're coming to a place in the journey where the internal work that you're doing is starting to show in the external world. You're starting to show that you show up, you take the space you want and need, you are who you are. No one around you gets to do anything to make that different. They don't get to say anything that makes that different. They don't get to push you or pressure you in any way. And honestly, at this point, they don't want to. Like, they might want you to move out of the way, or they might want you to not be so vocal about it, but they don't want to change you necessarily. Um, and there's a like this the fire being over the heart of the crow in this image too makes me think that the rage, that relationship is shifting, and it is becoming more of a it's the rage is actually fueling your passions than it is like consuming your life. It's becoming more of a core, like it's becoming more focused. And then it's so fascinating. Here comes the little fire again. November is 7 of Cups, and cups are, it's so fascinating because this person is pointing to the fire, but cups are an emotional, um, signify emotion, the emotional realm, and our emotional like existence, our emotional experiences. And what's fascinating about this card is like the person is still just only pointing to the fire, even though the fire represents only one of seven like experiences here. We have like a lot, we have creativity, we have transformation, we have like evolution, we have growth, we have self-care. And the thing that the person is still focused on is like the part of them that feels rage. And so this is a reminder, this card is a reminder to take the fullness of your experience instead of only focusing on the one part of you, or the one or two parts, however that looks, but in this case the anger, the rage, hyper focusing on that part. It's literally just one piece of the puzzle, and it is not, at this point anyway, it's not consuming, it's not destructive. It's an internal flame that uh that is fueling your passions, it's fueling your desires, and it has just as much of a right to exist there as all of the other parts of you. So I think the energy here is like that's kind of what you're settling into. Is like there's a part of you that wants to point that out. It's that old part that's always like, "Hey, look at all your anger. Stop being angry." But what you're now seeing is like, actually, there's a lot of parts of me, and that anger is a part. It's no better, but it's also no worse than all of the other parts as well. And this might be a very inward journey for you. Like this might just be like the person in the card, it might feel like it's only outside people like your mom, for example, who are pointing out this part of you, but it's also an internal part of you that needs to be reckoned with, that needs to be um, redirected and focused and reminded too that yes, you have that part of yourself, but there's also so much more about you that needs to be amplified and supported, not just pointed at and criticized. But also, okay, I just kind of saw this a little bit differently too. The fire is like lighting up the person's face. And so I wonder too if the way the relationship to the rage is shifting is like, oh, that's actually giving light to my path. That's actually starting to illuminate things for me. It's no longer just something that I'm fearing. It's like now becoming a valuable part resource for myself. It's almost like it went from like the crow, like you started to notice the fire was there, and there was like a that might have been your kind of first experience with feeling excited about that. And then into November is where you start to see like, oh, it's actually really valuable to me. This is actually a really valuable part of myself. And a big part of that is because it has shifted and your relationship to has shifted throughout the year. And then you get to finish December with the sun, which is like, I love these like naked chicks just dancing in the sunlight. Like, it's interesting because it's the sun showing up in the darkest part of the year. Uh, and uh,
Yes.
and it's because like you've spent a lot of the year being really internal with the work that you're doing. And there's something about this month that feels like it's starting to ripple out into your external world in a way where you feel celebratory, really. Like your values and your trajectory and your integrity are all starting to come into alignment. And it's not just providing like profound relief for you, it's actually um, feeling like celebratory. Like, okay, you know what? Maybe I do know what I'm doing. Like, maybe I'm not just okay with myself. Maybe I actually know what I'm doing here. Like what I'm doing with this life and the the commitments I've made to myself, to my partner, to my family, to the world around me. Um, and it's also worth noting that there's no need to do anything about it yet. Like this card, this is also a very masculine card, even though the characters are feminine. So I get the sense too, there's more harmony between those energies within yourself too. Um, but there's also just no, you get to bask in the sunshine like that. And it's a funny thing to say in December because it's like just like no sunshine ever. Um, but bask kind of in the warmth that you're creating for yourself and for the world around you. That's the trajectory of the 6-2. No matter what, like you're going to be illuminating people's paths for them. This I get the sense that the journey of this year is like, but first you got to do that for yourself. You have to like develop those skills to clear out the things that are holding you back. You have to integrate parts of yourself that have been excluded. Um, and you'll get to really bask in that by the end of the year. Like you'll really get to just feel how amazing that feels. But the reason I keep saying is you don't have to do anything about it yet is because there will be a temptation when you feel that good to like, okay, now I'm going to make a huge game plan and I'm going to just start working on it right away. And I would really encourage you to resist that. Um, like you've made it to the top of the mountain. You don't need to like make a plan to conquer the next summit. Let's just enjoy this moment for a minute. Like whatever that will look like for you in a year's time. All right. I think that's what I have. Anything that's coming up for you?
I don't think so. Not immediately.
It's a lot. Um and I usually tell people to like we're talking about energies that are going on through the next 12 months. Like
Yeah.
come back to however you journal or document or any of these things, come back to them and see what feels true. When September comes, come back to the high priestess or to the hierophant, I mean, and just see,
Hmm.
does this feel like what I'm still moving through, or does it feel different, or how is it both? Like revisit those.
Yeah.
Yeah. How is that landing for you?
It's good. The stuff about the rage is really interesting.
Yeah. How so?
Just how it kept coming up.
Yeah. How did it feel when it kept coming up?
It's interesting because it's been like a push and pull my whole life, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I need to figure out how to be nice to people when I get mad a lot.
Yeah.
And it's been coming up a lot too.
Well, and I think that is because it starts with being nice to you, to yourself
Yeah.
first, and that's like how we flow out into the world is how we are internally first, you know. So yeah, sure. I mean, one, like I also just want to offer you a reflection that I find you to be one of the most generous people in terms of holding space for other people and like considering all the dynamics at play. I understand that maybe it's different feeling inside, but the way that you express it is like very balanced and even. I think and so just like kind of take that and hold that against like how you see yourself, because how I see you is like you give people a lot of compassion and grace, and to me that's very evident in like the ways people show up for you when you need like at your birthday party, people like pack your house. Like
Hmm.
when Phoebe passed away, people were there. They like wanted to like be there for you. And you just don't get that when you're a fire dragon all the time. You don't. Like
That's true.
people don't. I had a friend in school who was like, she actually considered herself to be a dragon, which I was just like, okay, honey, I don't think that's the flex you think it is. But people told her, like, she was like, well, why don't people want to hang out with me? And they were like, people don't want to be close to a dragon. Like, breathe fire on them. So just keep that in mind. People don't want to be close to a dragon. And so that means that's not who you are.
Hmm.
Okay. So I hear what you're saying. Like you wish you were better with people, but I would just encourage you, like, just be better with yourself. Just be more kind to yourself and compassionate with yourself. Then as that flows out, it won't feel so disruptive. Like, and even in your witnessing of it, because you'll have a different way of holding yourself,
Hmm.
and you won't judge yourself as much in those interactions. How is it landing, like when I was mentioning that it's like a really feminine year versus like then the masculine kind of showing up? How is that kind of landing for you?
I don't know. It makes sense, I guess. Like I've been kind of trying to feel that out lately. I don't know. Like I feel definitely very much like a woman, but like maybe in an androgynous way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's definitely your fashion choices lately.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm digging it. It feels like you. Like it feels
Yeah.
like there's a not really authentic part of you coming through. But then you shared that picture the other day with like you and Kai in your more like gendered roles. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like you had your blonde hair and Kai was very male looking. And um I was wondering, and I didn't ask you at the time, but I was wondering how it felt to look at that photo and like confront those versions of yourselves.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we do feel more like ourselves now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anything else, like any other questions or thoughts or
I don't think
stuffs that are
so.
coming up?
Should probably keep going on my laundry.
I had one more journaling prompt for you I want to leave
Okay.
you with. Um, what does teenager Maria want? And then
Hmm.
I'll stop recording, but I'm gonna I'll upload